Vanessa, the floor is yours. You have 20 minutes. Okay, and after another 10 minutes for a discussion.
Thank you for your very kind.
Sorry?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Are you able to hear me at the back clearly? Or should I remove my mask? Can everyone hear me?
Please.
Oh, shall I?
Okay. In order to better.
Okay. So thank you, Professor Kotsa-Georgios, for your very kind introduction. I would like to begin by thanking the organizers of this important workshop for having invited me to present my latest research. So I would like to briefly precede this presentation by providing details about an important project which first got me interested in the study of Mount Athos. Since May 2020, I have been employed in the ERC Starting Grant project, Mount Athos in Medieval Eastern Mediterranean Society, contextualizing the history of a monastic republic, circa 1850 to 1550. MAMIMS constitutes the first comprehensive examination of the monastic communities of Mount Athos as independent actors in medieval Eastern Mediterranean society. My role as an Ottomanist on the project is to contribute entries from Ottoman and Arabic sources to the open access, fully searchable online prosopographical database titled Prosopographica Athonica. It shall contain all persons who had anything to do with Mount Athos from 1300 to 1550. That is, until the founding of the last of the major Athonite houses, Stavronikita. This project has acted as a springboard and enabled me to explore other aspects of Mount Athos under Ottoman rule, as well as to receive permission from Simonopetra Monastery for the cataloguing of their Ottoman holdings. While it is estimated that the Ottoman documents of all 20 monasteries are in the tens of thousands, only a tiny fraction of these have been published by scholars including, but not limited to Paul Lemaire, Paul Wittek, Elizabeth Zakariadou, Giles Weinstein, Vanchov Boshkov, Vasilis Demetriadis, Fokion Kotsa-Georgios, Alexander Fotic, Elias Kolovos, and monk Cosmas Simonopetritis. While some Athonite Ottoman documents were haphazardly published in periodicals, the first comprehensive analytical study was published in 1948 as a result of collaborative research between Paul Wittek and Paul Lemaire. However, the earliest extant Ottoman document, which you see on the PowerPoint in front of you, was published by Vanchov Boshkov in 1979, and it consists of an order, a nishan, dated to 1386, from the Ottoman holdings of St. Paul Monastery regarding the granting of a military fief to a Serbian nobleman and soldier, Radoslav Sablaja. Excuse my pronunciation. Through an extensive analysis, he concluded that it was indeed an original. However, the authenticity of the document continued to be the subject of debate in subsequent articles. So I would like to briefly give a summary of Simonopetra's Ottoman holdings before I go on to speak about 4 of the earliest documents. So preserved within Simonopetra is a very valuable Ottoman collection consisting of approximately 680 documents dating from the mid-16th century to the early 20th century. The number constitutes less of that of other monasteries, which runs into the thousands, which can be, which runs into the thousands, which can be attributed in part to the numerous conflagrations which affected the monastery. Nonetheless, the extant Ottoman archive is an extremely valuable collection of sources spanning 4 centuries and concerning a vast region and is virtually untouched by modern scholarship. So there are various types of Ottoman documents which can be found, from imperial edicts issued by the Ottoman sultans to petitions by the monks and fatwas, that is, legal opinions offered by the local muftis. The documents are also written in 5 of the main Ottoman Turkish scripts, and the majority of the documents deal with property-related issues, as well as issues relating to conflicts between the monasteries and the local Christian population over certain Metochian dependencies. And the regional scope of these documents is vast on the Athenite Peninsula, as well as in its Metochia around Greece and in the Balkans. And I also want to mention one of the Arabic documents, which is often overlooked. I will not go into too many details about that. However, its authenticity has been debated due to numerous features present on the document, both linguistic and in the drawing of the minarets. So I move on quickly to my first document, which is a Temesuk dating from 1557. So this 32-line document measures 400 by 210 millimeters and is written in Taliq script. There is a tear on the top of the document created by a fold, and the number you see encircled on the top right-hand corner was one that was written by Professor Vasilis Dimitriadis, who created a basic chronological catalogue providing details of the most important documents in a project which took place in conjunction with the University of Crete. So there are certain notes as well on the verso. I won't go into those. And the Temesuk, the word Temesuk means to hold on, to cling to in Arabic. And it essentially is a document that was given to one party in the case of lending or paying a debt or delivering or receiving something. And it is also used synonymously with senate. However, in this case, it is a title deed which pertains to the Trigi Metochian of Simonopetra Monastery, and that was one of 6 Metochia located outside of the Athenite Peninsula, the other 5 being Provlakas, Isvoros village, Logos, Vorfova, and Ceres. The regional location of this document is the island of Lemnos, which is known as various different names in Turkish, such as Limnos and Limos. Essentially, a monk, an abbot called David, presented a certificate of purchase, i.e. the title deeds, of agricultural estates, and requested the issuance of a new title deed with the reference of the estates belonging to the Metochian. The title deeds and respective boundaries were then presented with the dates and title deeds that brought them into the possession of the Metochian. This is then followed at the end of the document by a confirmation that the properties were used as agricultural lands, which were cultivated and used also as grazing lands for the monks' livelihoods, and tithes were paid on these. So I move on also to the second document without further delay, and this is once again a Temesuk, a title deed, which dates from the last quarter of the 18th century, and it is essentially a ratification of the previous document. And at the very top of the right-hand corner, in Taliq script, there is the ratification with the name Hafizzadeh Mehmed Emin, who is significant, a significant name because through him we are able to determine the dating of the document. The fact that it was his name appearing on here is significant because in another Vakfia, the ratification of a Vakfia dating to 1569, likewise belonging to the Simonopetra Monastery, his name also appears as the ratifier, and that Vakfia, the ratification of that Vakfia, was dated to between 1785 and 1790. So there are also numerous notes in Greek as well as in Ottoman Turkish on the verso. And the third document is a testament known as tereke in Ottoman Turkish, and that's dating from 1564. And this is a 7-line document that was written in Nessus script, measuring 220 by 138. Although the document is whole, it contains damages, as you see, from tears along the right-hand edge and stains from water damage covering the whole of the right side. And there are 2 notes on the verso. And we see here that the word tereke, or it's also known as terike, was used interchangeably with matrukat, which refers to testamentary documents which are collected in registers known as tereke, kasam, matrukat, and muhalafat. The term also means the property of the deceased person, which is divided according to the provisions of Islamic inheritance law. Now, I shall spend a little more time on this particular document because I considered it of particular interest. Now, the diplomatics can be divided into 4 separate sections. The title section, which gives information such as the identity, title, group, profession, place of residence, death, and date of death of the testator as well as the heirs. And the second part of the document, second part of the document is a detailed breakdown of the goods that are given, as well as the value determined by in monetary value of each of these goods. And in the third part, you have expenses that were incurred, and in the final part, you have the ratio that is allocated to each of the heirs. So the tereke constitutes a very rich archival source for research on Ottoman social and economic history. Our document alone, albeit short, indicates the family status, number of children, origin, title, profession of the deceased testator, in addition to the amount and distribution of movable and immovable goods and their respective prices. So the actors included within this document are firstly the deputy high-ranking judge of Viennija, called Mustafa, the deceased Greek Orthodox citizen by the name of Giannis, the Provat of Thassos Island, and his inheritors, who are listed as 2 unnamed sons and daughters. The regional focus is divided between Thassos Island and Viennija, and I won't go into details about the history of the Ottoman conquest of Thassos. However, sufficient it is to say that it was a strategically important location. So then we have, in terms of the detailed breakdown of the inheritance, the majority of which consists of immovable properties in the form of a house with a meadow, olive, pear tree, and walnut trees, while the movable properties are both vegetable and animal in kind, and they consist of pomegranates, oxen, and a mule, and among others. So the properties were of freehold status because even those consisting of land, once they were planted on, were automatically converted to freehold. So all of these properties amount to a total of 3,750 kurush, and the inheritance was divided between the 4 children, with the sons receiving twice the amount of the daughters. So the following questions arise with regards to this document. Why was the issuing of a testament under provincial Ottoman jurisdiction? And secondly, how did a document come into the possession of Simonopetra Monastery? As regards the former, according to the Ottoman legal system, the determination and distribution of the belongings and goods left behind by the deceased are among the responsibilities of the Islamic judge. Accordingly, after the debts are paid, the wills are fulfilled and the remaining property is divided among the heirs. In relation to the latter, it can be postulated, i.e., how did it come into the possession of the monastery? It can be postulated that some or all of the properties mentioned were transferred to the monastery either through sale or by one or both male inheritors becoming monks within that particular monastery. Further light can only be shed on the reason through a full analysis of subsequent documents dating from the mid-16th century. The language of this document is also very interesting because 2 aspects can be extracted. That's firstly, the terminology used when referring to 2 actors, and that is the first being the Ottoman legal official whose name is preceded by the adjective fakir, which literally means poor but can be suitably translated as humble, thus emphasizing a positive attribute. On the other hand, the Christian actor from whose Turkified name, first name, Yani, can be assumed to be a Greek Orthodox subject, is described with the condescending phrase of merdud, which carries a literal meaning of buried, to refer to his deceased state, as opposed to the more respectful terms of merhum or maghfur, which is the forgiven one, or he who is forgiven, used for Muslims. Secondly, you have gendered elements reflecting the societal and legal attitudes towards women through the positioning of the daughters' names after that of the sons. And the gender issues are not restricted to language, but also expand into the realm of law. One of the striking aspects of this document is that of inheritance, in which the daughters receive half the share, consisting of 625 piastres, of the sons 1,250 piastre inheritance. This apportionment would have corresponded to inheritance rules in Islamic law, which are based on verse 11 of Surah Nisa in the Quran. Yet the testator was a Christian. So why was this? Non-Muslims would occasionally employ the Ottoman court system as opposed to their own religious, diplomatic, or leaders if they were considered to be of benefit, such as in the case of divorce and remarriage. The Ottoman system also permitted separate inheritance rights into the second half of the 19th century. We have no information about the female inheritance, since they were defined as being the daughters of the male testator. In ancient Greek law as well, women had no claim over inheritance, with men automatically being the heirs. So this is has not influenced this particular distribution of wealth. So it seems that in this case, the Ottoman or Ottoman legal rules of inheritance took precedence. And the fourth and final document is a hujjat, a court document dating from 1569, and you can see on the subsequent slide. No, I haven't included that. So it measures 210 by 137, and it's written in Italic script, and the state of the document is somewhat worn. So it also has a note on the verso. The term hujjat comes from the Arabic hujja, which linguistically means argument and legally means authoritative legal proof. In Ottoman diplomatics, they are documents ratified by the Islamic judge in whose presence proceedings are carried out between two parties at odds. Oh, okay, thank you. So sorry. So they are, I will jump this section, they are usually collected in court registers. So the actors within this document are both Ottoman Turks and Christians who can be postulated to be Ottoman subjects. The first is the issuer of the document, an Ottoman official in the position of deputy judge, and his name appears on the top of the right hand, and his seal appears underneath. So the properties to which the document refers, those are the testator, Giannis, and there are numerous witnesses, names of three of which are mentioned as follows: Ilyas, who is a Shubas, Ali, who's also a Subashi, which is like a policeman or a person of authority, and Papa Soter, who is a priest. And finally, you have the testator's unnamed male and female heirs. So the document treats the subject of the distribution of Giannis' properties, which are fields of arable land, to his male and female heirs, in which the latter would not receive a share, in fact. So without going, I must skip this because I'm running out of time. So this brief, I will just go to the conclusion. This brief presentation has demonstrated the importance of the contents of the documents in shedding some light on the history of Mount Athos under Ottoman rule during the mid-16th century. The analysis of the earliest documents of Simonopetra's holdings in relation to their type and the diplomatics and prosopography contained therein is a necessary approach to understanding the location, level, nature, and duration of contact of the Athonite monks with the Ottoman state. The bureaucratic language used in different Ottoman departments when addressing issues relating to non-Muslims and the actors, ecclesiastical, lay, and Ottoman, that had contact with the Holy Mountain for reasons as varied as contestation over property boundaries, certification of legal claims, to testamentary donations to the Athonite monks and Simonopetra Monastery. Some of you also may have noticed that I substituted the earlier document, i.e. a court document, a hujjat, dating from 955, that is 1548, with a later one, because it was not among the documents that had been transferred to me by the monastery. So I hope to make future contributions through the publication of the entire catalogue of Simonopetra Monastery, which will be open access, and also the creation of a prosopographical database, which is linked to other databases for the benefit of scholars from different disciplines. And I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Obaldía, for your very insightful presentation. And this is for you the floor for questions. Any questions for the Obaldía's presentation? Yes, Father Cosmas.
I would like to thank Vanessa for the presentation of the three earliest documents of the Simonopetra archive. I would like to add that We are very lucky because these documents were saved in the archive, because all the archive of Simonopetra, the Greek, both Greek and Ottoman Turkish, was burned in the fire of 1580. And the two documents about Tassos Island were saved because the monastery obtained the estate in Tassos Island in 18th century, I think at the beginning of 18th century, and the monastery had taken the documents when bought the estate. So these documents were not in the archive of the monastery, and for this reason were saved. So we are lucky to have these documents from the Metochion in Tassos, which unfortunately was lost at the second quarter, the second half of 18th century. And I would like to ask Fokion, I think you know, Yenidze, which the city Yenidze, which is mentioned, is the capital of Kaza, is Yenidze Karasou in Xanthi?
Me? This is a question for me? Yes, I would like to add, thank you, Father Kosmas, for your question. I would like to mention that Yenidze is absolutely Yenidze Karasou, the center of the district, because Kavala district and Thassos Island were dependent to Yenidze Karasou until 1570s or 80s, according to my research. So it's absolutely this Yenidze, and because of this, the Qadi of Yenidze signed this document, not of Kavala or...
Today, Yenisea, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
Today.
there was not a Qadi in Kavala.
Okay.
On this.
Thank you. So I also, thank you very much for your comment, Father Cosmas. I also want to add to that there is another very important document of the Vakfia of 1569, which is also preserved within the Simonopetra archive, because once again it was considered a document of importance in the demarcation of the monastery's properties, and therefore it was kept possibly within the coffers of the monastery. So whenever any disaster struck the monastery, it was immediately taken out along with other valuables. So yes, we are very fortunate to have these precious documents in our possession. Yes.
Is there any other question, please? Okay, so we thank you very much, Vanessa, for your presentation. It's very promising that another Ottoman archive like Simonopetra is going to be published, and the research will have at their hands for future research. Thank you very much.
Thank you.